Friends, Bryan here for the Life of Bryan, and let's just get this lighting a little bit brighter. So I am here before you humbled, in shock, and of course you guys know about the viral video now, and I want to acknowledge you because you guys, if it wasn't for you guys with all the clicks, the likes, the subscribes, your YouTube channel is nothing, and I am in shock, and I feel blessed for being not a very social person. And it opened up my eyes. So what I want to do is I want to acknowledge you guys. Of course, that was me playing a few of my guitar licks with my trusty Ibanez RG770 from back in the late 80s, my friends. They don't make them like they used to. But I wanted to acknowledge you guys with this crazy video that went viral. I connected with a lot of you people. The likes and the comments and the views are still coming in. But I wanted to do my best to give back. If you guys are reading my community posts, you're probably seeing that. For any of you that want to get in touch with me, you can email me at thelifeofbryanshow@gmail.com or follow me on X, BryanBriggs50. And I, of course, since we've had 20,000+ comments, I can't read every comment, but I want to do my best to acknowledge you guys. So what I have to do, because I tried scrolling through all the comments to get to the bottom. That's one thing with the YouTube feature. You can't get to the first comment. It's very difficult. So what I have to do, I was able to, by using the public subscribers filter, I was able to finally scroll to the bottom. So guys, I know what it's like watching YouTube, and when people go on, oh, hit smash like, hit subscribe, it's annoying. Believe me, I know, I hate watching that in videos. I'm sure you guys too, but if you just hit click, burns half a calorie, it helps me out, but also for me to read future comments, if you're a public subscriber, that's the filter I'm going to use. So we are going to go on blast here for a half an hour, and I'm going to read and acknowledge all the public subscriber comments. Sorry, I'm still in shock from all this, guys. This is just like crazy in a good way, So I want to reach out, and I don't have much, but I'm trying to do some good back for everyone. And this is one of the things I want to do is to acknowledge you guys, because without all the views, this channel's nothing. Okay, so here we go. So we have here, this was 8 days ago, Reacher, 2526, public subscriber, thank you. I am 47 years old, and each year I get older. I like people less and less. As if it is within my power, when I hit my 50s, I would also like to avoid people as much as humanly possible. People are mostly toxic and will drain the energy and good intentions out of you. I feel you, brother. But edit on that too. I wanted to say, I was just making a video going out and going for a walk and sharing my thoughts, and I had no idea it would resonate with so many of you. But Reacher, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact here, your next comment, you say, oh, and I subscribed. I appreciate it very much. So that's 8 days ago, so you had to have been among the first. I have no way of telling because of the volume. But at Ripley, 7T429, my dog will give his life for me without question. He will never leave my side. Dogs and children, unconditional love. I turned 60 in August. I have had the privilege of knowing 5 other men that were more than brothers to me. They are all gone now. Very sad. We are at that age where people are starting to disappear. I am no longer looking to foster any social relationships. Those times in relationships I had are fond memories, but they can never be replaced. Actually, I'm making notes here for a future video that I got to talk about here. My sons are grown and have their own lives. We live at opposite ends of the country, but talk often. I'm retiring in March and heading to Southeast Asia. Time to travel and enjoy my last quarter. Society today does not value close relationships. So be it. Okay. Thank you, Ripley. Dead on George. 55 and agree 100%. People are becoming worse with the crap in games. Society has definitely taken a bad downturn in the past several years. And I'm going to have future videos on that. And we're just going to talk about it. Okay. Time well wasted. I am now 69, long retired. I was treated poorly by people most of my life, especially in the workplace. I'm living the best years of my life now, not working, and just a handful of good friends. At this point, I certainly have no need to make new friends either. It's kind of interesting when we look at the past, look at our regrets, our bad decisions. But if we didn't make those bad decisions, we wouldn't have wisdom, which is kind of weird too. Like, again, it's kind of interesting. Again, I'm still kind of going through here. I'm still in shock by all this. I just can't even explain it, but we'll talk about that in a future video. Okay. Rogue Sarge. I am 59 and I feel the same way. Larnu, yes, that is called wisdom. Most people are on the way to hell, and there's a reason for that. Larnu, you are right on track for hell. Okay. Okay. Manny Fragoza, is that a guitar in your picture? What is that? That doesn't look like an Ibanez, but I'm not endorsing Ibanez, folks. I've got several different guitars. I've got Jacksons, I've got Ibanez, I've got Deans, I've got Godans. I know what I like when I play guitar, and that's what I'm comfortable with. Many of you have asked, and that's what I'm a professional guitar instructor. I used to play professionally, but I don't anymore. But the life of Bryan, I've had a very interesting life. Many chapters with a lot of different things. So anyway, Manny says, the more you learn the truth, the more you want to live a reclusive life. Yes. At D0LBY67, 58 today. Amen, brother. And I have to wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday with a smile. We made it another year. Okay. Let me just make sure here we're recording properly. Yes, we are. Belloc 2401. These past 4 years, I learned a lot about people. Been through 2 relationships, both horrible. I avoid people as best I can if I know they're going to bring drama and disturb my peace. I'm 35 now. Wow. That's some wisdom at your age. I was still pretty clueless at 35 for me. Hey, Bryan, I'm the same way. This is Ron Edelenboss, 272. Hey, Bryan, I'm the same way. I always carried my work associates as just that. We were best friends at work and shared great times, but no real friendship with them other than work hours. As for my home life, I always kept a small circle. At 56, I retired and suddenly relocated to a new province. Oh, what province is this? Left my old friends behind. I do long for the old days, but I don't seem to have the drive or passion to reconnect. Trouble is, it's just me and my wife now. We get along great, but I have no desire to get out and make good friends in my new town. Now I find myself avoiding interaction. I'm a jovial, spirited guy, and I shouldn't be hiding myself from interaction, but it's really challenging now. It sounds like we have a lot in common. Turning 60 was really a tough pill to swallow. And although my wife and 2 daughters reassured me that things hadn't changed, it certainly was a difficult transition. Life is moving forward hourly, daily, weekly. It just keeps going. We need friends. I shouldn't be a burden on my wife and kids. I am borderline ADHD autistic. I've always been a little judgmental with friends. I was cautious if they came too close. Mostly because I needed to have control. I'm still finding my way. Sort your headspace, Bryan. 50 to 60 was a fast lane in my life. Now I'm here and I'm truly lost for a sense of direction. Be honest with your thoughts and question your judgmental thoughts on others. That is anxiety, and is it feeding off your true needs? There's a lot of us out there. Very interesting. Great post, Ron. I appreciate it. Sean Bruce, I agree 100%. Sub, bro. I'm 58, and this hit home. It seems like it's hit home with a lot of people, Sean, that's for sure. MOSFET, so we're named after a type of transistor. You're not alone. I think by the time you're 50, you can see through all the smoke and mirrors. You know who you are, and you avoid people to keep yourself safe. It's not that I hate people, but I have lived enough to know at this point. I'm okay without them, apart from a small group of friends. Brock Lesnar, by the way, openly admits to not liking people and has an 8-foot fence around his property. Good video. I did time and a stint as a professional wrestler, actually. I'm going to have more coming up on that. Remember, folks, the life of Bryan. I've lived a crazy life. Much to talk about. I appreciate that, MOSFET, very much, and I appreciate the Brock Lesnar reference. Blue Pine Tree, 01. Don't second guess yourself, Bryan. You're successful. Live. Thank you for sharing, and you are doing just fine from a 60-year-old brother. Don't allow negative drama to take space in my mind. Life is too short now. Look forward to your future videos. I appreciate that very much. Aaron McCloskey, 4809. I am 44 after 20 years working in public transport. I don't handle being around people anymore. Man, you would have had to deal with a lot of people. I couldn't imagine that. I could not. Aaron, I couldn't imagine what you've had to deal with. Fortunately, I have 3 wonderful pets to share my life with. That's a common theme for a lot of people who are commenting. They're saying, hey, like, pets are where it's at. The dog savant. My entire life is based around my dogs and only interact with people's dogs for my job. As soon as I stop trying to entertain the way, most people are driven by their egos and motivations that I cannot relate to. I started feeling peace. This includes family, friends, etc. as needed. Yes, sadly, sometimes with friends and family, there can be drama and problems. More on that in future videos. DJ King. I live in that solitude which is painful in youth but delicious in the years of maturity. That's an interesting insight to that. When we're younger, we need to have that need to be social, but as we age, we seem to have it less and less. I agree with that. Brian Lilly, 8876. Wow, Brian. Brian here as well, spelled with a Y too. I'm 57 and I feel exactly as you described in the video. My whole life, I've loved and trusted people, even helping the homeless, but that trust has been taken advantage of. I would do anything to help another person. Seems that has been my downfall. You're resonating with me here, Bri. Even my family has taken what is mine. Oh, sorry to hear that. I also live a very reclusive life. It's not who I am, but I have become a hardened person. I understand what you were saying. Well, Brian, ironically, it's brought, I don't like to use the term antisocial because there's a very nasty personality disorder named that, but for those of us, let's use the word reclusive. It seems to, this video has brought a lot of us together, and there's something about YouTube, it's my favorite social media. I'm not big on social media. I have a video, I've gotten asked a lot about that, so I have a video coming up on that, but there's something wonderful about YouTube. Jackson, 38. The trust levels definitely go down as I age. I'm 52, and I'm visited to staying single and avoiding, okay, very cool, I can relate to that. Time of motion, 1971, so we're close in age. I'm so recluse if by chance I ended up in prison, I have more of a social life. That's a good one. Eni Bori, 1973, so same year as me. I just turned 51, you're not alone. I've been thinking the same way for a few years, and I'm also a truck driver, so I spend a lot of time. I basically have two real friends and my older sister who I trust. God bless you and thank you for your video. Well, God bless you and thank you. I appreciate that very much. I'm still kind of in shock. It's been over a year. It's been over a week and I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? It's resonating with so many people. CJT962, I'm 56 years old. I hear you, brother. Thank you. Ferrari Spider 800, starting to hit me that way, and I'm 27. Hit me so early, LOL. I have put myself about a lot and chucked myself in the deep end with lots of situations in my life. I feel like I've grown so much. I think it's part of maturity and the realization that time is precious, as is our energy and best spent bettering ourselves and not in drama and situations that people ultimately bring with them. Sometimes, folks, any type of ship, I don't mean the ones that are on the sea, but when you have friendships, that type of stuff, relationships, in some ways you are inheriting their problems and dramas, okay? And another famous saying I have is, people with a lot of problems will try to make your problems their... People with a lot of problems will try to make their problems your problem. I've seen that firsthand in life. Despite that, not everyone is bad. You do get the odd diamond out there, but it's rare. I agree. Very awesome post. Thank you. Ray Whitney. Ray says, I say to myself, like you know, I'm 66 and frankly feel invisible in public. I'm okay being alone and by myself. I don't feel invisible. I find people really like to stare. It's very, very, very odd. I do have some family I see during the holidays, but just for a few hours on Thanksgiving and Christmas. I work out like you, try to eat healthy and listen to music. I'm a big sports nut also, watch a lot of that. Very cool, Ray. And I appreciate you watching and subscribing. At LProf007, very relatable. It seems like that for a lot of people. I appreciate you watching and commenting. At Signer Minori Mitsu, I am 51 and you have me thinking. Okay, it sounds like that's going on with a lot of people. Waydo, 47 here, I feel the same way. I'm glad you're not the only one. Midnight Blue, I just turned 53 in October, and I'll put it this way. Yesterday, the wife wanted us to go to a few different stores, and she asked me while on the way why I seemed to be in a bad mood. I simply said, because I don't want to be around people. So let me ask you, have you guys seen my short yet on me going to the grocery store? Lots of like-minded people commenting here. I bet many of us could be friends. Liked and sub, Brian. Take care. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Mungo Dark Matter. Your video really makes me reflect. I think a few things happen as we get older. I think the more we understand about human nature, the more that we realize there's a dark side and a downside to it, and that everyone, including ourselves, can act selfish, have a bad day, or be unreasonable. So right out of the starting gate, there is some potential for conflict and drama and bad feelings. Add to this that people have different temperaments, personalities, and maturity levels, which makes them more or less apt to get into conflict and drama. There are people that get into very little trouble and conflict, and some that get into it constantly. And even if the conflict is not directly with us, they can draw us into it. Very true? So anyone you spend a lot of time with can be anywhere on the spectrum of trouble and conflict. On the other side of the coin, some people we have to walk on eggshells around. Very true. And that gets very draining and annoying after a while. And I appreciate your post, just so I can get to as many people as possible. Your next, again, when we get older, we also have a pretty good idea of when we meet someone where they're going to fall into the spectrum of causing us trouble. This is a great post, and I'm going to go back and reread this. But just so I can get more comments in with the time we have, I'm going to keep going, but I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the time you took to write that. Grown man, 5950. I'm experienced it as well. I'm definitely a social recluse. Itchwear. Lost good friends, gained bad friends, all because I chose to smoke weed 20 years ago. I turned into one of those losers you'd find on your friend's feed. Sucks, but life goes on and can't change the past. Well, all we can do is, take advantage of the day we have, right? You're going pretty hard on yourself there, but, we've all found each other, which is kind of neat and ironic. Lightning tree. Yep, I estimate about 20% of any population are good. A subjective term, but the comment section isn't ideal for an expanded debate. The remaining 80% comprise of selfish, narcissistic, psychopathic, 20%, and those who placate them rather than doing their bit for good to prevail. Therefore, statistically, social reclusiveness is on the logical response. If you ever notice somebody with some of those problems, a lot of people just kind of walk on eggshells and they might say to you in person how much they can't stand that person, but then you see that person on their social media feed. This is another reason I don't like Facebook or Instagram. They're commenting like they're being their buddy. But when you're the person that stands up to them, oh man, I've experienced that too. Hardyard's Brewers. This video rings a lot of bells for me. I've also noticed the exact same thing and wonder, am I a bad person for feeling this way? I find myself very short with people who have wronged me in the past or people who have lost my respect. All I can say is I'm glad it's not just me. Cheers and thanks for sharing this, Mike in New Zealand. What part of New Zealand? Very interesting. There's a famous saying, you can't blame people for sucking the life out of you if you keep giving them the straw. And that's very true. And for me, again, when you're done with people, it's just like, hey, But have you ever had that when someone's treating you like crap and you've just had enough and you're like, okay, cool. Like, obviously there's a problem, I'll leave. But then that makes more of a problem. You'd think that they're happy that you're not in their life anymore, but people can be really weird, man. Torgomax, subscribing with the guitar. Thank you. Those licks in the beginning I played of this video were for you, my friend. Okay. New Life 5, Iffy, you're telling my story. Okay, it sounds like that for a lot of people. Canadian Lumberjack, social media TV has left people opportunistic and shallow. I turned off TV 10 years ago. My SM is YT for content like this. I don't think humans we made to live in tribes of 100,000 plus, or group mentality is lowering average IQ below 100. So I've actually recorded today some videos on this topic because I've had a lot of people say to me, well, like, if you don't like people, why are you posting on YouTube? Let's take Instagram, and we'll just talk about it really quickly. So Instagram, especially if you kind of have more of an insight on a certain person who has a huge following and people are like liking all their posts and following them. But if you know someone, like, you don't really know that person, but what if they're really not a good person? But you're following them on Instagram thinking they're great. Another thing is, and I'm going to do a video on it, I had a chance years ago to meet one of my personal heroes, and it was a big letdown. So sometimes what you see in public is what they want you to see and not what the real picture is. So that's another thing. When we kind of idolize people and really follow people, that's another thing we have to be careful of. Ladyhawk 6999. I think it comes a rite of passage. I'm 57 and I've always been kind-hearted, generous person. Thus, I was always either used or met with suspicion by having an ulterior motive, which was totally frustrating since I was taught to always treat others the way you want to be treated. Never in my wildest imagination did I think that it would mean doormat or disrespect. Yes. Again, I'm not crying victim. I take responsibility for all my bad decisions in life, and I've made many. But, it's often in life people they might not admit it, but there's always ulterior motives. Okay? When you can find that true friend or person for a relationship, when they love you, when you have nothing and you're at the bottom, that's someone to hang on to. Now that people have taken what they need, they're gone and only contact me when they need something. Yes, and that gets old. It sounds like you're very wise as well, and you've picked up on that. And I appreciate your post, and I have read this one. I actually have read all the comments. But I'm going to move on just to get as many other comments in as I can. Again, thank you. Again, guys, be a public subscriber. I'm not saying that to fish for subscribers, but I'm just saying that makes it easier for me to read your comments and get to them. We might have to do a part 2 of this. For your information, same Lady Hawk, if it is hunting season, I advise you to pick up a blaze orange vest and jacket when you go walking that time of year. I really should have done that. Hunting is big around here. Thundar Z. Feel the same way, brother. Nearing that number in a few years as well. Getting burned over and drains you. Think a certain way just to keep your sanity. People are not the same as they used to be anyhow. Yes, this is a very common theme that we've been talking about. Being closer to a depression now makes it harder to trust in this dog-eat-dog environment. It's just survival to be looking over your shoulder, and it's easier mostly to just stay to yourself unless you don't mind drama. I would say for people that are feeling depression, work out, eat good, and I mean healthy, because it'll help with that. Okay, but more videos to come on that. I do believe in some way at some point we must work together as a country or the invaders may deplete what we have left. God bless. I can tell you, in this country, Canada, we've got a lot of problems. Things have been really going downhill. I never liked to talk about politics in the past because it's very polarizing. People end up fighting, not liking each other, ending friendships. But there's so many problems now, I feel compelled that I have to talk about it a bit on my channel. At Vivo FFLOVV, there are very few rare gems out there, but I've generally gravitated towards AI for good, non-judgmental conversations, even though all the models and bots still have their limitations. I found my fair share of work around, but once the immersion is broken, it's never quite the same connection. Already hit the like and was thinking of subbing, and then I got sidetracked till you reminded me. I hate asking people for that, but for someone putting effort into a YouTube channel, when someone does likes the content and you hit a like, it does mean a lot. It does add a lot. At the Flair Mind, some people are truly genuine and they're out there. While I enjoy my alone time, I also like socializing with friends now and then. Yep. My circle of friends isn't huge and I'm okay with that. Over the years, it has gotten smaller and some people have changed along the way. Social media, herd-like mentality, yes, and easy access to product services has made people selfish and entitled. Technologically, we have progressed in the most areas, but as humans, we have regressed in some areas too. Instead of some people patching things up, they hold grudges and they just ignore you. Some people are immature despite having a car, a house, and a partner, but on social media and IRL, they act like they are super important and super successful. I accept that as humans, we are flawed, but I know we can only be in control of ourselves. If, by chance, this channel happens to really blow up, I never want that to change me. And that's very important, okay? Because I have seen people change with success. I understand that people can backstab and I've experienced it myself. It sucks, especially now that I'm in my late 30s. I feel like I cannot be bothered with socializing with people sometimes. I do make an effort to meet new people, but I approach it cautiously. I take my time to get to know them and let them in gradually. Okay. Just keeping an eye on the battery monitor here on this camera. Symbiotic virus. I'm the same, wish I wasn't, but I also love my solitude. I recorded a video of that today too. I don't enjoy feeling the way I do about people. SARS747. I feel you make a great point about society's lack of education to young people about the red flags of personal behavior of others so that young people can avoid toxic future relationships. I wish I had a father like Gonzalo Liro, Coach Red Pill YouTube channels who would give me practical advice about identifying and avoiding toxic women. Also YouTube channel of Shannon Rice Lewis for some laughs about the reality of dating. Rest in peace, Gonzalo, if you're only around me 55 years ago. Yeah, relationship fraud is a big one. People don't portray their true honest self. They're not going to put their worst traits down on the Tinder profile. I have videos coming on that. Eric Horn, 3414. I'm 52, wondering how the hell I can be 52 already. Yes, I share that with you. I mean, how's that possible? Next, the older I get, the less tolerance I have for people also. Third, how grateful I am that I stayed single. And lastly, how much I wish people like Andrew Tate, Coach Greg Adams, Kevin Samuels, and other manosphere people were around to teach me all the things I didn't know about women and relationships when I was younger. And one of the things too is we avoid red flags. We avoid that nagging feeling in your gut that says, something's not right here. We tend to just ignore them in the beginning of a relationship, which is bad. Pay attention. Ricardo J. Mestra. Same here, I am 49. Very cool. Exit only, 2009. It's happening to every man, my friend. Don't worry, okay, God, nature loves you. That's what matters. You just got hurt, and that's completely common. Same here, by the way. I have an incredible story to tell. hence the life of Bryan. I've just seen it constantly, not just in relationships and a lot of different types of interactions with people. And but there'll be more videos coming on all that. You know, we have much to talk about. Freeman 37, I'm 36 and I prefer being alone. I've learned a lot from being around people pre-COVID, but the most important lesson is to be suspicious of everyone's double motives or agendas. It is true, and sad, but it is true. Brian Tate, 50 and hate people. Okay, Brian, I got you there. Charles Anderson, social media have led to too many people and businesses being dishonest with others. Yep. Fnord, 23, Genosis, 37, I avoid people. People from my past, if I see out in the medium city I'm in, I quickly avoid or disappear from. Just the way the dice rolls. Or maybe you're just busy and you just don't want to have time to talk about the BS that you know you're going to be talking about. You know? Okay. Trim Bod, 2212. I'm nearly 62. As I've aged, more than anything, there's a strong sense within me of acceptance of my own mortality. The acceptance that I can't control anything or anyone, and a strong desire to leave a positive legacy. To leave the world in a better place than before I arrived. Brian C., 6218, I'm about to turn 50. I know exactly how you feel. I'm an introvert by nature, but the older I get, I just don't want to have anything to do with people. I keep my circle very small and doing better because of it. Canadian Brewing Channel. Interesting. Canadian Brewing. I might have to check out your channel. At 59 years old, I totally get where you're coming from. I feel the same way. I am at the beginning of Generation X and believe that we are the last of the generation that will be actually able to reflect on life the same way. Every time I turn another decade older, I look back on my life and my decisions and find myself saying, what the hell was I thinking 10 years ago? Now you are really resonating with me, man. My 40s was just a storm. I think my most difficult decade of life was my 40s. Made a lot of bad mistakes, bad decisions. But thank God the end of my 40s ended on a very good note, and more on that in the future. I'm more guarded than I was in my 40s. I do have more empathy for people, but at the same time, I'm very suspicious. I think it is life experiences and gathering wisdom that changes who we are. Yes. I find younger people less genuine. That leads me to trust less. I now have 2 grandkids and will try my best to pass on my wisdom without the negatives. Good luck on your journey through life. I appreciate that. I would like to make a note. I am going to come back and check your channel. Maybe your channel is doing well. One of the ways I want to give back is by helping some people with some small struggling channels who are putting an effort in and posting regularly though. So it's called the Canadian Brewing Channel. So my camera here, my viral video was filmed on an iPhone 11. This camera is a Canon camera. It shoots 1080 pretty good, but in 4K only at 24 frames a second, and it crops like crazy. So you're basically getting my big melon head here, the on-air sign, and the rest of the screen I have to have for the your comments, which are important. Canadian Brewing Channel. I'm going to check that out. I'm making a note here for that. Let's see how you're doing. Juliet Phillips, 1991. So I guess Juliet is born in 1991. Whether or not it's normal, I don't know. Yes, I am so very done with people and any interaction. They usually want something. Very true. My memories are live and active in my head. Basically, I consider myself to be an antisocial. I've heard that I should not say hate. Yes, I hate. I don't give a you-know-what anymore. I don't take my days for granted, and keeping physically busy helps to keep the memories at bay. You be you and stay strong. All the best to you, Juliet, and I appreciate you subscribing. Ironically, this video has brought a lot of us reclusive people out of the woods and together, and I think that's a sign.